Happy video day, guys. Christina, Brooke here. Today we're going to be doing a Make Up Your Mind. So for today's Make Up Your Mind, I saw that ColourPop had released this brand new Disney collaboration collection for Bambi. And I don't know why this called my attention. I'll be honest, Bambi was not one of my favorite Disney cartoons. I don't remember Bambi very well, but I know it wasn't something that I was very interested in. But for some reason, maybe it's because I am dying for it to be spring or something, when I saw the release of this collection, I thought, that is really cute. So this entire collection is launching on February 25th. So there's going to be different items inside of the collection, but today we're going to be trying to find the 3 different 5-pan eyeshadow palettes that are launching in this collection. So there's Bambi, Flower, and Thumper. So those are the 3. Also inside of this collection, so you guys know, there's going to be 3 eyeliners, 3 luxe lip glosses, a pixie poof highlighter in Morning Light, and the Oh Dear faux lashes. So that's everything that's going to be launching. I do not know how much everything's going to cost as of right now, but I'm assuming around the $12 range or something like that for the eyeshadow palettes. And today I decided I want to look through my collection and see what this color story is going to look like before I decide to go ahead and purchase it online. If you guys are new to Make Up Your Mind, I do this every time a new launch happens that I'm very interested in. I look through my collection to mimic a color story in order for me to see it and see if I actually like it before I go ahead and hit that buy button. FYI, guys, there is also going to be a huge giveaway that is going to be posting, and I think it's going to post today. So get ready for another notification from me, and get ready for it because it's going to be a huge giveaway video of a lot of stuff I've been holding on for you guys. So get ready for that. So if you guys are excited to see what I was able to find in my collection, let's get into it. And like always, guys, I always start off the video showing you guys the results. So here are my results. This is what I was able to find in my collection. And guys, there is one palette in my collection that mimics one of these palettes like almost to a T. Didn't expect it, but I'm actually happy that now I know that because it was one of the ones I was considering picking up. But I was able to find a lot of the tones, at least to kind of get an idea, and I have some thoughts which I will be sharing with you guys at the end of the video, and of course I will tell you guys if I'm going to pick any of them up at the end. But let's start off with the first palette. For the first palette, I actually jumped into 2 different palettes that I own. One of them is the Natasha Denona Gold palette, and the next one is Natasha Denona Sunrise palette. So both of these palettes is how I was able to find the Bambi palette. So let's go ahead and run them down. Let me show you guys what I did. So for the very first color, I jumped into Natasha Denona. I'm actually shocked. I found a lot of the colors inside of Sunrise. That was shocking. But what I did was, for the first color, I jumped into color Morning, which is this beautiful color right here on the top. This color Morning, guys, has almost the same exact hue as the color inside of this brand new palette. When I was swatching it, I kind of went through a few different palettes because I was really thinking that this reminded me of the Natasha Denona Metropolis palette. I was shocked to see that it was more similar to the Sunrise palette. The next color, what I did was go into this color called Carmelian, and it's kind of like an orangey yellow, and it reminded me a lot of the swatch that I saw, and yeah, tell me that doesn't look very similar to the swatch. So I went ahead and picked that color. So the first 2 colors, I like them. I don't use them very often when I jump into this palette though. I'll be honest, like I don't. Unless I'm trying to do like a real sunsetty looking eye, I don't jump into those colors very often. So then inside of Natasha Denona's beautiful gold palette, I had to get like some of those brownie colors because they're not in the Sunrise. So I jumped into the brown inside of Natasha Denona's gold palette, almost like identical brown. So when I light it down, I was like, ooh, that's so similar, like almost the same exact color brown. So now the first 3 shades, this does look like Bambi. Like I was looking at this and I'm like, well, that looks like a Bambi. It's not attracting me as much as I thought it would. So the next color, this I think is going to be more yellow. But what I did was I jumped into Natasha Denona's gold palette, and I jumped into this color right here because it's like a limey gold. I think it's going to be a little bit more yellow inside of this new palette. Mixed a little bit of the golder color from Natasha Denona, this one right here on top, to create this yellowy metallic that you guys see on my arm. I don't like yellow on the lid. It's like not one of my preferred colors, and when I look at the swatch, it does look like it's gonna be pretty yellowy metallic. So we went down a few notches right now with that tone. And then for the last one, I jumped into the same Natasha Denona palette right here, and I jumped into this color called Teak. I will tell you, Teak is a color I use a lot in the gold palette. It's a very, very, very beautiful color. So that's kind of what rounds out the first palette for me. Honestly, guys, I'm not sure. Like, it kind of like, after finding them in my collection and seeing them swatched on my arm, I'm kind of having second thoughts about this one. But let's move on to Flower Shocked Me, okay? Because there was one palette that had so many similar tones, and I was a little taken back. I didn't realize this, but Natasha Denona's Trio Chrome is the palette that I found most of the colors in, but I did have to add in a little Marc Jacob Extravagance into the mix because there was like a black, so I did grab from here. But let me tell you, this palette right here was almost like, if I could say it was a dupe, I would, but since I don't have the palette in front of me, I can't really use the word dupe, but I could definitely say it mimics it pretty damn good. So for the first color, what I did was go into the color Tungsten inside of Trio Chrome, and this color looks almost identical. Like, I was swatching it, I was like, ooh, look at that color. The color is almost identical. I really like this color inside of the Trio Chrome. I have created some really amazing purpley looking lids from Trio Chrome, so that color, huge win. The next one I jumped to this one called Manganese? I have no idea, but it's like a beautiful deep purple that's actually close to a Barney purple, but it's not that Barney. It's acceptable purple. I like this purple. The first two colors, I like them together. I like them apart. I think they're cool colors, so we're on to a good start. The next one, I jumped into Marc Jacobs, and I needed to grab this color up here. So I believe that the one that's in the new palette is actually going to be a little bit more bright than this color. But I ended up just going for this one because I wasn't 100% sure, but I really think it's going to be brighter than this. So the next one, I jumped into the color. Now this was a wild card, but I feel like might as well just stay in this Natasha Denona Trio Chrome. Now this one switches colors. So it's kind of purple. Well, you could see a purple on screen, but it does switch to a little bit of a green. But for all intents and purposes, we're going to go with the purple tone, which is the one that you see the most. So this purple tone almost looks identical. If you guys can see, maybe in the lights, you're not going to see the purple as much, but it definitely is a beautiful purple and looks really similar to this color. So I ended up going with that one because even though it has that flip, has the same color. At least I can see the color story, you know what I mean? The very last color, Marc Jacobs actually has almost the perfect color because there is this black right here with tiny shiny glitters in it, which this one is like, has glitter in it. So I might as well just use this one. And there we go. That rounds out that palette. And I have to say, that is a pretty interesting palette. I don't know if I love the black in there though, to be honest. Like, that black kind of threw me off. It kind of threw me for a little loop. I wasn't expecting that black. But let's move on to the last one, which is Thumper. Now, Thumper was the one I really was considering purchasing. This is the one that called my attention the most out of all of the palettes. I don't know what it was. Maybe it has a little green in there. Maybe it says cool tone, something a little different, but I really was attracted to Thumper. Thumper is the idea that I mimicked on my lids today. This is kind of a similar look you could probably create with Thumper because I did use the colors that we will talk about right now. Now for Thumper, I used two palettes. Natasha Denona's Glam palette and this Huda Beauty Emerald Obsessions. Most of the colors I actually did get from this Glam palette, and I just jumped into one from here. So for the first one, I think from what I can see in these swatches, which they're pretty damn good swatches, let me tell you, I think it's going to look close to Center Lid because I think it's going to have a little bit of a pink metallic-y tone to it. So I went with Center Lid because Center Lid actually is a very pretty cool tone pink. I think it's going to look similar to that. Gorgeous color. Very, very, very pretty. So the next one, Huda Beauty's green palette. I jumped into the Emerald Obsession and I grabbed this first color and a little bit of this color. I always do this when I use this color. So this is a typical thing that I always do. It creates the most beautiful lime green, which I actually like better than the green that's actually in the palette. So I always do that anyways, but oh my goodness, it almost makes like almost the same color. Like when I swatched this, I was like, ooh, that looks really, really, really close, like very close. Then for the brown tone, I actually jumped right back into the Glam palette and I grabbed this color called Lash Line right here. Lash Line almost looks identical as well. It's a very, very deep rich brown that's very cool tone and very, very pretty. So this one actually looks really, really interesting. Almost looks identical. It's kind of giving me like the Natasha Denona mini retro feel, but a little different. Obviously lighter end of the spectrum, but kind of like that very nice cool tone palette. For the next one, I jumped into Crease, which is this beautiful tone from Natasha. And this one also, guys, looked so similar. It's like a gray undertone brown. In my opinion, a very, very, very similar tone. Very, very pretty. Really, really like it. But yeah, I feel like I have this palette so much already, which was kind of shocking. And then for the last one, I jumped into the color Blend from Natasha Denona's Glam palette. And yeah, that color also looks so similar that I was kind of shocked. So now that I have them all swatched on my arm, do I want them? That's a huge question. Huge question mark right now. Huge. Because here's the thing, as I didn't realize how similar the ones that I really wanted were to certain palettes that I already owned. I honestly was thinking of picking up Bambi and also Thumper. I wasn't that interested in Flower because just like the layout of it, I was like, I don't really want that palette. But it's so funny to me how similar it looks like it is to the Trio Chrome, at least color-wise. I don't know if I love that there is a black in here. I honestly feel like this should have been a deep gray. I think the gray would have played better with these tones than a black. Perplexed with that black. Because when you put purple with black, especially as a deepening shade, I don't think it does as beautiful as of a blend as if you were to put gray. So maybe that's why there is that lighter cream color. You can actually mix the black with the cream and create a gray. So at least you have that option. So definitely the Flower one's cute, but I'm gonna make up my mind right now and say I definitely do not need the Flower. Now that we're down to the two that I was actually considering picking up, let's go over Bambi first. So totally honest, I think that Bambi and Thumper are the most easy to use ones. Like I feel like the most useful palettes that a lot of people could actually even wear daily, like daily use, those two would probably be the ones in my opinion that are laid out the easiest to use for daily life, right? So if we go over Bambi, I like Bambi. However, the problem that I have with Bambi is the two colors that are kind of like those pop shades. I do really like them, but I feel like I have them in an amazing formula of Natasha Denona, and I hardly use this Natasha Denona palette because those colors are not colors I search for very often. And the other three tones I found inside my gold palette, which I love my gold palette. But now that I kind of see them together, I like the combination and I really want to play with looks combining the sunrise and the gold, but that doesn't really mean that I want the ColourPop one. So for that reason, I feel like thank you for showing me a cool color story, but I am going to make up my mind and say I'm not going to pick up Bambi because now I want to mix these two together. So Thumper is the one that I really was going to get. But now that I see that it's so close in colorways to my Glam palette and that all I had to do was add that little green, which every time I want a green, I always grab this one anyways because the formula of this green and the Emerald Obsession is insane. Like it's so good and I need to use this palette, you know? So now that I know it's so similar to the Glam, like at least a lot of those, you know, tones that you would use for blending and adding outer edge effect, I could find most of them in here. And all I have to do is jump into one color from here if I really wanted to add a lime green. I'm gonna make up my mind and say I don't need this one either. This one is the toss-up for me because yes, it would be nice to have them all in one palette, but I really like Natasha's formula and I feel like I need to use this palette. So just trying to be a little bit more of a smart buyer on this one. None of them, in my opinion, had so many unique shades that I had to jump into so many palettes that I felt like I want this all in one. And you guys can see there was some really close comparisons between my Natasha Denona shades. So if you guys are looking at these, I do think they're actually pretty damn cute. So yeah, that's where we're gonna leave this Make Up Your Mind. And for you guys watching this video, there is going to be a giveaway coming. I believe I'm going to be posting it very soon, whether you'll see it tonight or you will see it tomorrow morning, but you guys are going to see a giveaway. I've been collecting a lot of goodies for you guys and I'm going to be showing you guys everything you're getting and doing a whole giveaway for you guys coming. So definitely look out for my next post on my giveaway. Thanks so much for watching and I'll talk with you guys later. Bye.